In today's video, I'm going to be answering some fun, interesting, and personal questions related to psychedelics that were asked directly by members of our lovely community. And by community in this case, I mean members of our Discord server, which you can find link in the description below. I'll see you in there. Would you ever totally isolate in the woods and take 5 grams of mushrooms? No, my friend, I would not. This was asked by user Ludwig Beethoven. I would never in my entire life do that, and I truly hope that was bait, in fact, Ludwig Beethoven. Because if you decide to take 5 grams of mushrooms isolated in the woods, that sounds a lot like the movie The Blair Witch Project. That sounds terrifying because on mushrooms you can get so insecure and so vulnerable that you would love to talk to even a chipmunk. So to be alone in the woods on mushrooms, oh my god, it's just the feeling of the forest creeping in on you, and of course there's the potential for a beautiful experience, but I guess maybe I'm picturing it in Washington woods. I'm picturing it in sort of like dense old growth forest. Maybe if you could show me a picture of your sparsely treed uh, no canopy forest, I would be more interested because I'm currently thinking of like a Ted Bundy Washington forest and doing mushrooms alone in it. So please alleviate my fears in the comments below if that's not what you meant. Will we get a video like your LSD in the rainforest videos of you doing DMT? Says Jay in the Discord. Yes, you absolutely will. So, you see, the thing about this channel is that I am very much still an amateur psychonaut. This channel started with my first LSD trip, that's really when it took off, and it's been about not even a year since then. So, I have a extensive history with the use of psilocybin mushrooms, but DMT for me, besides an initial test dose of some that I extracted, I have not ever gone truly deep in. You will absolutely at some point be getting a video of me on DMT. Now, whether or not that is my first DMT experience or my second, that remains to be determined because, in my mind, what's very important is ensuring that when I do DMT, it is me doing DMT. And Arcana may be at one of the points that I decide to do DMT where it's offered to me. Yes, you can definitely expect in the future a video of me doing it, and that will be when the time feels right for me. What do you think about people who trip recreationally? This is asked by user Pop Magoot in the Discord. Another good question. I don't have any type of egotistical high ground when it comes to people who decide to recreationally trip, and I, in fact, myself sometimes recreationally trip. I think what's much more important than taking any type of a superior stance against people who just like to trip for fun is ensuring that the public and also those people know that there's another element to tripping. It's not so much important to try to ruin people's good time. I mean, if people want to take mushrooms with their friends or LSD with their friends in some type of fun context that they simply have no plan to extract information from or maybe like do any type of integration or personal work, so what? I mean, if they're being completely safe and they're not bothering anybody else, how cringy is it to try to be like, oh no, man, I'm over here, meditating on my mushrooms only? What a weird and kind of an antithesis to what mushrooms teach you of a stance to have. But yeah, as long as they're taking harm reductive practices and they're not bothering anybody else, who cares? Let them have a great time. Life is short, and sometimes psychedelic experiences that are just fun can be some of the most enriching experiences that we can have in a long time. So I say live and let live. Do you think natural psychedelics are somehow better than synthetic ones? This is asked by member Firehoax in the Discord. Awesome question. No, I do not think that natural psychedelics are inherently better than synthetic ones. I think there's two sides to this coin, because when we talk about natural compounds, we're usually talking about things that have been used by cultures for an immensely long time. And this is very important because when you have a compound that is used by a culture for a long time, there are selective forces at play. If this compound was extremely detrimental to this culture, or it caused it to deteriorate rapidly, or become unable to reproduce itself or sustain itself, the culture would not remain in existence. And so what we're left with is a series of compounds that cultures have adapted certain norms and traditions to their use that has made them very beneficial. And this is very different and very strikingly different, in fact, than many synthetic substances. Some people, fair enough, believe that there is a type of spirit in a molecule in a plant, and they believe that it is only attainable through that molecule in the plant. But I don't think this makes very much sense at all because quite often we can actually replicate this exact molecule in the lab. And maybe that does rob it of its spirit or its history, but I won't be surprised to find that the effects are more or less the same when we actually just synthesize these natural plant compounds. Now, I think my biggest caveat to that is that when plant compounds are consumed, these natural psychedelics, often they are actually not just one molecule. Synthesized molecules may just be one molecule suspended in solution in a vial, whereas a natural compound might actually be a complete mixture of, who knows, hundreds, thousands of different molecules that can all be having a cross interaction and a synergy in the human body. So I suspect that some of these ideas about plant compounds having a type of spirit or different energy than synthesized compounds actually being due to this interaction of more than one type of molecule in that plant compound with the body. There could be thousands of cross interactions occurring when we consume these plant compounds versus just a synthesized molecule. Favorite drink while on acid or shrooms? Asks Jansen301 in the Discord. Water. I don't have any type of a special liquid blend that I consume as much as I would like to on a psychedelic trip. I guess if I did have to give any type of like recommendation, I would say it doesn't hurt to have something sugary. I've noticed a lot of people when they allow their blood sugar to get low on a trip, that the corresponding headaches or anxiety that can actually occur from a lack of blood sugar, I should say from low blood sugar, um, causes an amplification of negative effects in the trip. So maybe a sugary beverage wouldn't be the worst idea. But besides that, just have a nice water bottle. You don't need to get too fancy here. No Soylent required. Are you interested in supporting independent art? If so, link in the description below to a Teespring store hosted by me that features exclusively independent art made by members of our community. 80% of any of your purchase goes directly to only that artist. Thank you for your support. Do you still plan on working up to Kalindi Lee's famous 30-gram mushroom dose? Says Stank Willie in the Discord. First, I just want to say rest in peace to Kalindi Lee. If you're not aware, he actually passed away during the coronavirus pandemic due to coronavirus. This is pretty tragic, you know. I was really hoping to eventually talk to Kalindi Lee or maybe get some damn words of advice about what to do before I go into this 30-gram mushroom trip. Uh, yes, I do still plan to take 30 dried grams of mushrooms. I still plan to slowly work my way up, whether it's over the course of years or who knows how long, to taking these large doses of mushrooms because I am so curious. And even more so now because I have to take 30 grams of mushrooms in order to unite with Kalindi Lee's spirit in the mushroom realm and then resurrect him. So, you know, that's a whole nother dilemma now. But yes, you can definitely look forward to me taking increasingly higher doses of psilocybin mushrooms. What do your parents think of your psychedelic use? Asks Light in the Discord. Well, Light, I would describe my mom as being um, optimistically cautious. I would say that she's very supportive and it's awesome. She actually knows my channel and maybe watches some of these videos. So, hello, Mom, if you're watching this video. Um, I would say it's probably very strange for my family. It's very weird to have a kid who seems to be going on some type of a scientific career track and then suddenly tells you that he's interested in mind altering substances. And what do you do when your kid has not necessarily been a dangerous kid? I never have really partaken in very risky behaviors, so she knows that I wouldn't be inclined to kind of go down a dark path, but yet, you know, your son is taking mind altering substances. So I can imagine just that sentence alone brings a lot of anxiety to my parents. But I'm lucky to have a pretty open-minded family, and I'm just going to keep going because I've never had to worry about any type of a backlash or, you know, being isolated from my family members, which I'm very grateful for because not everybody has that opportunity. How do you manage your ego when it comes to people looking up to you and your word regarding psychedelics? This is asked by user Saga in the Discord. Awesome question, because this is something that I think about a lot, and I've even thought about making a video called The Psychedelic Ego, because there is an inherent contradiction here, and that contradiction is that I have a YouTube channel. So if I don't have an ego, which I certainly have an ego, but if I had a reduced ego, or I had reached some type of a state of a non-need for approval or something like that, why do I make psychedelic content? And so, yes, good question. How do I manage the ego when it comes to people looking up to me? First, I would say I don't think people should really look up to me all that much, or at least not beyond my domain of knowledge. I want to make clear that I'm very much a student of psychedelics. I can give advice about the psychedelics that I have experience with and describe their phenomena to the best of my ability, but I never want to give the false impression that I am some type of a young Paul Stamets already, or I'm a type of young Dennis McKenna already. These people have a wealth of knowledge that accumulates over decades that I truly respect and value. So I am very aware of my place in the hierarchy of knowledge and competence. And I just want to make that clear to all the rest of you. So I look forward to you joining me on this journey as I develop my competence and I become more well equipped to be looked up to in the psychedelic movement. Um, but yeah, I think that I keep my ego in check by constantly reminding myself how I started. I mean, I started making hilarious rant videos on YouTube about Area 51 and clapping alien cheeks and things like that. And after one of my first LSD experiences, it really picked up steam and I began to gain an audience. So being humble and remembering your roots and the silliness that really started this thing is crucial because you definitely can start taking yourself too seriously. You know, you see a smaller channel and you start thinking like, I'm different than them. No, man, you're no different than them. The algorithm just treated you a little differently. And, you know, there's something to be said for hard work and maintaining something like a YouTube channel, but never let ego get in the way of never let ego create this barrier between you and any other human being. If I ever think that I'm any different than the person who is watching the channel, I fundamentally missed the point. And so, how do I keep this ego in check? I guess to be concise, by basically self flagellating myself the equivalent amount for every compliment I receive. Now, this might sound masochistic, but I think it's necessary because the ego loves to feed itself. It loves to see compliments and it loves to see positive regard. But it's important to remind the ego the balanced side of the coin that it is not, in fact, a god or all knowing, and it is very limited and it needs to remember its limitations. And that's what I try to do, at least. So I hope it shows in my work, at least to some degree. Where do you think your life would be currently if you never discovered psychedelics? This was asked by user Apocalypse Dreams 4 in the Discord. Where would my life be if I never discovered psychedelics? It would probably be similar in a lot of ways, but I think the most significant way would be how much of an asshole I was. I think I would be a lot bigger of an asshole, to be honest. I mean, really, I truly mean this. I think that I would still be pursuing science and I would still be doing most of my current goals, but I would have a type of elitism that really has bad taste in my mouth now. I would have a type of attitude towards people who might have been inclined to the mystical or uh, just more romantic views of the universe. I would have really looked down on those people. I would have thought that um, science was an ultimate knowledge generating system that can prove everything. I would have thought that. I would have still thought that consciousness had no instrumental value in the universe. I would have thought that it was basically just an emergent after product of evolution. Many ways. I think my life would be the same and also different if I never took psychedelics, but most of them relate to my temperament. Do you think that cannabis feels like a much different experience after psychedelics? This was asked by user Nunya in the Discord. Yeah, I do. And I've been kind of also wanting to make a video about this too, because I have noticed a slowly morphing relationship between me and cannabis. And I say that as if it's a sort of a lover almost because it's been in my life so long. But it's true. I have noticed since increasing, particularly my LSD use, and by that I only mean by starting to use LSD about in the last 9 months, I've definitely noticed that there's a lot of subtle shifts in the phenomena of a cannabis experience. For one, it's felt a lot more intense lately. For some reason, the same amounts, and I actually weigh my doses, so this feels pretty tolerance controlled. It feels like the same amounts put me in a sort of dreamy headspace that they didn't before. And maybe more significant than that is a type of, you might even call minor HPPD that occurs when I smoke. It's almost like there are these minor watery visuals that occur on cannabis, and I'm not really used to that. So I'm still kind of working through and trying to articulate what this morphing relationship is like. And so maybe you could look forward to that in another video. The final question is this: what do you see in the future for psychedelics in general? This is asked by Eternal in the Discord. You know, nobody can see the future, or at least I can't, but it seems to me that if progress is not reversed, which is possible, we are heading probably in the next decade for the beginning of medical psilocybin and possibly MDMA psychedelic services. I truly hope that licensed practitioners are able to guide people from both before, during, and after psychedelic experiences and really begin to show what the benefits of that process are like. And if we are correct that this process is tremendously beneficial, word is going to spread rather quickly. And I anticipate we may see a type of almost slow moving domino effect uh, go on throughout at least the United States. I can't really speak for Europe. I'm not educated well enough on their politics, but observing what happened with cannabis and how after states didn't necessarily fall apart after legalization, we have seen subsequent legalization in other states. I really think that after we have a few proven test cases of these psilocybin services being activated in different states, we will see a slow moving wave of other states beginning to support this as well. This is going to take our cultural skill, this is going to take our scientific skill, and this is going to take our legislative skill. All of these three things are going to be extremely important in ensuring that these actually occur. All right, I think that's going to bring an end to my Psychonaut Q&A. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below as well answering these questions for yourself. I'm really curious to see what the psychedelic community in general thinks about these issues. I also just want to say that Test Kit Plus is an amazing resource to get harm reduction tools and things like that, so link in the description below for that. And I think that's going to bring an end to it. All right, I'll see you guys next time. They say it is the time of legends. You know what time it is. It's time to read the Patreon list. Here we go. Adam Sornat, Alex Gilbert, Alex Miser, Alpha Disconnect, Anti Miko Makinen, Ashkor Draxon, Ben, Billy Gillis, Brandon, Caleb, Cameron Plourde, Chicks, Chris Fileon, Christopher, Connor Nelson, The Happy Hour Show, DeAndre Jamal, Daniel Shiner, Danny Cameron, David M. Vincent, Dendare Lotus, Devin Hall, DeVillis, Dylan Brown, Eric Sear, Fishy, Jedimanos, Helvetia, Irate Llama, Jack Donahue, Jake Hall, Jason Barnes, JD Beats, Jeremy Sorrell, Josh Farrell, Justin Boudreau, Karenda, Kelvin, King Ragnar, Lassie, Leron, Lithium Blodwyn, Louis Le Louis, Lucky 1107, Lynn Aid Norton, Mate Orr, Mia Valentine, Michael, Miguel Navarro, Mike King, Mohiyidine Cheikh, Morty, Nathan Martins, Night Slayer Bot, Ohram Mcleod, Oven Want Kenobi, Pineapple Dan, Professor, Rainbow, Rakaya, Robbie, Royan, Ryan Allen, Sarah Chapagain, Sebastian, Secular Shaman, Sierra Butler, Sir Pugsley, Serena, Steven, Surfs Up Tom, Tap Last, Tatum Scott, The Gaming Guy, 3-Pounder, Toxic Player, Trevor, Turtle Toast, Tyler, Voyager, Zachariah David, and Zebediah. Thank you all so much. You're what keeps this channel running. Until next time.